Oh yeah, perfect. Oh, I didn't light up the light. I think that's the back side of the rain. And the trebuchet is still parked in the yard. Well, let's put you on the tripod and get to work. There's a quick tip for you. I got this gap here in the angle iron where they come together, right? So when you're welding with the MIG, obviously your wires are going to shoot down through there. And what I see a lot of people do is angle it to the side, and they choose this side to angle it to. Well, that works pretty good because your wire will mostly hit that. But if you make sure you can always angle it to this side, since this one has the long side, you will always hit that. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you miss and go down here, your wire will still hit clear down here. Whereas this one, if you angle it too far, your wire is going to go right through and miss that piece. So if you can, always angle it to this big plate when you're doing something like that. Spend some time welding a few places together on it just to make it a little bit stronger than just having just the tack welds, but it is not welded together by any means yet. I always get nervous about doing that because if something goes wrong, you got to move something. I'd rather cut a few welds off than all of the welds, you know. Okay, next I'm going to start in on putting the hitch on here. I'm going to go ahead and do that now, because as is, I can use this thing as a generator. So it'd be nice to move it around behind the four-wheeler. Honestly, I probably won't use this generator a lot. You know, I've got the big welder on my truck. I've actually got another generator on a trailer. As far as a generator goes, I don't really need the generator in itself on this rig. Like I said in earlier videos, this generator on here is primarily for two purposes, mostly to run an electric chainsaw and maybe a work light. I was thinking the other day I could actually take a reciprocating saw with me. On a lot of little branches, you know, that reciprocating saw will work a lot better than a chainsaw. So that's just kind of what I'm thinking, is run some tools like that. Alright, so enough of the talking hand. I'm going to figure out where this goes. I measured the four-wheeler and it was 14 inches to basically the top of the hitch. I'm going to call this 19 inches to the bottom of the angle iron. So that gets me 16 inches to the top of the hitch. That's 2 inches too high. So I think I am going to go ahead and put a 2-inch spacer in that. I went and measured my welding truck and my pickup just to compare, and both of them are at 14 inches. So yeah, we'll go with the 14 inches. So I'm going to find a couple of chunks of 2-inch scrap that I can put between the frame and the square tubing. And then we'll go drill a hole in this and weld it on. That's not according to plan. For some reason. It's not going to be that far. Oh, I know what. Of course, it's way off. Yeah, of course it's way off. So this angle iron is stuck in here, tall side up, and this angle iron is in here, short side up. So yeah, there's a huge difference in height there between those two. Let's see, this is 2.5 by something. Can't read my writing anymore. Alright, so I'm going to measure that, see what the difference is between that one and this one. And then I'll have to cut me a new piece for the back one. It was just an inch difference in height, so I got a 3-inch piece back there instead of a 2-inch piece. It should work. Let's see. Yep, it's tapered in just a little bit, so yeah, that's a perfect fit. Absolutely perfect. It's a little difficult to figure out how to get this thing square. It looks really square. I'm just going to go with it. I guess the worst that can happen is I redo it. The welder was set very nice for this corner weld here. I'm very happy with that bead, but it was really running downhill trying to weld this flat. As you can see, that's just junk. I'm going to figure out where the 2 holes will go for retracted and extended. And I'll drill those 2 holes through that square tubing and call it quits for the day. pretty good, I guess. Yeah. Well, it's hitched. Yeah. It's not bad. Next, supposedly, if we've ever learned anything from me saying next, don't believe it. I'm going to put a brace from these two bolts down to the frame. I'm kind of envisioning a piece that goes along the tank, jogs over, and then goes down to that angle iron. Like one flat piece that's as wide as those bolts. So that'll take some of the vibration out of that gas tank. Honestly, I don't know if it really needs it, but I'm guessing with everything vibrating, it'd be a lot better to have a little stabilizer up there. The gas tank feels really solid on there. Got the suction tube of the gas tank right there, and the pump on the engine is right there. So it just goes from there to there. I think that'll work pretty good. Let's see, what else is there at this point besides the actual chipper? I don't know, I'm pretty excited about this. This is cool. I don't know what to say other than, hey look, told myself I'd quit at noon today on this project and go eat lunch and then actually work. That's cutting it pretty darn close. Also, I have a basic drawing of this thing on Imager if you kind of want to see the basic dimensions of everything. Maybe add a little bit of input or something. Oh, it's so good, isn't it? Oh, that's so good. Should have put a sheet behind it. That background's kind of distracting. Ha. Howdy YouTube. I've got to get started on my hydraulic press again. I need it for a job I'm currently doing. I built this little contraption some time ago. I don't remember when. And I goofed up on it. I'll see if I can show you what I did wrong here. But if you notice, the cylinder is sitting crooked. The top of it is going to the right. I might be able to squeeze 20 inches out of it once I cut off the torch marks and square it. So that'll be awesome for the spine. Do a little multitasking here while the bandsaw is cutting that end off. I wheeled the roundy round table outside and took the pressure washer to it. Much better. It was really greasy and oily and dirty and nasty looking. So I'm going to flip this piece over, cut the other side, and I think I will go pressure wash the Owatonna press off because it is really nasty. Valve came in for the winch on my truck. I have been running it by simply using this extra remote clear up here above the controls. Oh, morning YouTube. Whew, I am beat. Absolutely beat. Don't even know where to start. I've had a really long week. Yeah, I guess it's been a week now. Today's Tuesday, so it started last Tuesday. But last Tuesday, found out one of my in-laws in Kansas City, well, actually east side of Kansas City. I can't think what the name of the suburb is. Found out one of my in-laws passed away. So, we had to make a really quick run to Kansas City. From my house to where the funeral was a 5.5 hour drive. So we knew we couldn't do that in one day. And since I had to leave the farm then for 2 days, I had to get the cattle fed extra. I had to get some fence work done. I ended up having to move some cattle to a different pasture. It was just a big hassle with the cattle. I was right in the middle of working on this wireless remote project for my crane, so I didn't get it done, needless to say. Basically, in trying to keep the story short, I haven't worked on anything in a week now, as far as shop projects go, because I had to get the animals set up so I could leave for 2 days. Got back, the next day was nonstop work on the farm to catch up. So we get home from the funeral, and it wasn't too much longer, and we got a message that one of my wife's friends and also my neighbor was in a pretty bad car wreck early Sunday morning. She was I don't know how much detail to share on YouTube, but basically the short of it, I think I can say all this all right, is she's a teacher at a local school, and she was one of the teachers that worked the prom that night, however you word that. The prom dance, she was there, and she left, and then one of the students left the prom and found her in a really bad car wreck. So, yeah, she'll be all right. Now it's been a couple days. She's out of ICU, but she's pretty beat up. Has a broken pelvis, a few broken ribs, pretty bad head injury. So it's going to take her a while to recover, but my wife is pretty upset about it. Pretty good friend of hers. So it's been quite the week around here. Just crazy. And I ended up having to make a trip to Abilene yesterday, which was Monday, because I left my daughter in Kansas City to stay with relatives for a couple days. She just wanted to have some fun, all that. So yesterday I'm driving to Abilene, which is about halfway for us to Kansas City. So we picked her up, came back home. So I didn't get any work done yesterday either, because still ended up being on the road for basically 6 hours out of the day. But I did stop at a Tractor Supply along the way, and I gotta say, those of you who live near a Tractor Supply, I am very jealous. Very, very, very jealous. So I'll show you why. The reason I stopped in Tractor Supply is I was looking online, and I discovered they had these pulleys for about $8. These idler pulleys. They are $35 for me locally at the cheapest place I can find them locally. They're $35. $8 at Tractor Supply. So I grabbed a couple different sizes. So that was awesome. What am I trying to say? Yeah, so basically 1/4 of the price. Just mind-boggling. These floats are for the stock tank for livestock. They're about $14 locally, and they were like $10, I think, at Tractor Supply. I don't know. A few dollars cheaper, not a lot cheaper, but definitely cheaper. Exact same brand. Ours are the Little Giant. Everything was identical. I even got the old box and compared them, and it's the exact same float, and they're about $4 cheaper at Tractor Supply than when I can get them locally. They had a multimeter on sale. I don't know if it originally was $8 or not, but it's on clearance for $4.39. So I had to grab that because you always need an extra one. I just bought a brand new multimeter And let's see, actually it's right here. This was the cheapest one I could find locally, and it was $20, which I thought $20 was pretty good for, you know, a multimeter. And yeah, maybe they had an $8 one there at Tractor Supply. I don't know if that was original price or not. But like I said, on clearance for $4, so I picked it up because you always need another one. And then this right here ended up making it worth the trip. I could have literally driven to Tractor Supply and back and still come out cheaper than buying this locally. This is a 20,000 pound snatch block, which I've been looking for one so I can get the gin poles built for my welding truck. And not this brand, but a very similar one to this is $150 locally. So that's why I haven't bought one. I just kept thinking, oh, I'll make one because they're really not that complicated. You know, there's really nothing to them. So I was like, yeah, I'll just make one instead of spending $150 on a snatch block. Just walking through Tractor Supply and just caught my attention on the corner of my eye. I just barely even saw it. $28 at Tractor Supply versus the $150 locally. I was blown away. So that alone was worth it. So very excited to get this. But anyway, enough rambling about life and things I found, but man, I really want a Tractor Supply close by. I would build a lot more projects because, you know, I've got time for that. Anyway, so yeah, I got these for the wood chipper in case I didn't make that clear, since they were only $8, then I don't have to worry about making one. It's a replaceable thing that way, and we can get a little more progress done on the wood chipper. So awesome. So I can't decide if I should work on the wood chipper today or get my welding truck all finished up. It's been a long time since we've had rain. We actually did get a little bit a couple weeks ago. I showed that in one of the videos, but it wasn't much. It was just enough to settle the dirt. But today, I think we've got 2 inches of rain already, and it is still raining. And radar shows that it's going to keep on raining unless it just evaporates, but that storm is just coming over and coming over. This is so awesome. Yay! I can't tell you how bad of a drought we have been in. I'd say we're every bit as bad as them out there in California. Matter of fact, last summer, so the summer of 2015, one of our drinking water wells went dry. Luckily, we got 2 of them. The other one did not go dry, but it's kind of scary when you run out of drinking water. All right, let's work on the wood chipper. Wow, it is still raining. I don't know if you can tell how soaked I am or not. I just went out to feed the cows and the bottle calf and everything out there that we have in that little pen that I showed you last episode maybe. And I am drenched from doing that. I was out there maybe 10 minutes to do that. Just completely soaked. It's 7 o'clock in the evening already. I didn't get anything done on this wood chipper. I really wanted to test fire it today really bad. But Grandpa decided he wanted help on that tractor over there he's working on. But point being, it's 7 o'clock in the evening and it is still raining. I've got a tub out there that has 5 inches of water in it. I haven't gone and checked the rain gauge, but I'm guessing that's pretty accurate, which is just unbelievable. It's awesome. I'm very, very excited for that, though. We need it bad. Oh, dang, I almost had my ducks in a row.
Hi, Dakota. Would you look at your dog?